A friendship red flag that has absolutely nothing to do with our friendship is a woman that is able to curse out a grown man. Maybe it's just because I grew up with brothers and I don't know who y'all was raised by, but it's crazy. Especially when girls do it in the context of their relationships. This is the man that you are supposed to love and care for, and you calling him a shit? Absolutely not. And if you're willing to do that to him, to a person that you literally let inside of you, I know you're gonna do it to me. Let the day come when you get pissed off. You gonna do that right back. But not even just for myself. I just don't like to be friends with women that don't respect men. Because one of these days, you gonna meet the wrong one. And when you do, I hope I'm not there. You know what? I won't be there. Because we're not even friends anymore. The minute I find that out, we're not friends. Have a good life. I'm getting a lot of responses from my last video about cursing out men. Some of these women are even advocating for their friends to curse at grown men. And because all of them stem from the exact same logic, they did it to us, so why can't we do it to them? I'm gonna tackle all of these in one quick blow. As women, we often say that men are inherently more violent and more aggressive, and there are some stats that back that up. So your response to this dangerous, volatile person who you think can throw a brick at you at any moment is to escalate the situation. You know, my man told me that some of the girlies were so down bad that they have now turned into the very men that hurt them. And at first I was like, no, the girlies are way more emotionally mature than that. I didn't want to believe it, yet here y'all are. That being said, I'm gonna go tell my man that he was right and make him a breakfast sandwich. Y'all have a great day.
Y'all done made having to ask so important that some of these got they ugly.
Tomorrow is Father's Day. Don't start that. I'm the mama and the daddy. Happy Father's Day to me. There was Mother's Day in May. Let the men have something. They don't do that during Mother's Day. Don't do it during Father's Day. If you don't like your baby daddy, please, we don't need to hear about it tomorrow. Tomorrow isn't about you disliking your baby daddy. It's about fathers out here who are doing their jobs 365 days out of the year. There are so many good fathers out here. Your baby daddy, maybe they just aren't one. Too bad. You was hunching, and it is what it is. That's your situation.
And Father's Day is this weekend, and I don't want to see not one female post a picture of herself and say, Happy Father's Day to me because I'm doing it all. Ma'am, we had Mother's Day already. You may be doing it all, that's fine, but you are not the father. You will never be the father. You cannot replace the father. Although he may be a piece of shit, you are the mother, and you are doing it all as the mother. You are not the father. It is not our day to celebrate. Y'all look ridiculous, because had the single dad celebrated Mother's Day, y'all would have lost y'all shit. If you don't have nobody to celebrate on Father's Day, just let that be it and keep it moving. Have a nice weekend.
Men who drive big ass trucks for no reason, like their job doesn't require it, they don't have a bunch of big dogs, are so funny to me. Like, okay, sweetie, you're a mortgage broker. What are you doing rolling up to work in that?
Before y'all start on Sunday, just remember that you picked your own baby daddy. It was you who chose to be with that bum. It was you who decided to lay up with a deadbeat. So, please don't start y'all Sunday. And y'all guys that are great fathers, happy Father's Day.
Men have taken the very serious issue of mental health and have personalized it just to them.
Ma'am, I stomached my way through that video so you didn't have to, and oh my god. Do you want to know why? Do you want to know why there's a men's mental health month? Because of people like you. Because of posts like this. Because of trends that were going around like the moment of silence for men's health while female creators were playing the most obnoxious music that they could find in the background. Because when men try to open up about how they're feeling, they're told to man up. Because when men are in abusive relationships, and guess what? They can be abused as well. They aren't taken seriously. If a man is abused by his female partner and he tries to call the cops, guess who's going to jail? Not the abuser. Because there is a war going on inside of men's heads that we know nothing about, and nearly 600,000 men a year lose that fight. Talking about how men want to feel oppressed, meanwhile you're going, how can I make this about me? Saying that men don't deal with mental health issues nearly as much as women, when mental health is not a competition. Because men are taught from a very young age that having emotions, let alone even showing them, is a sign of weakness. You literally started out your video with talking about how serious mental health is, but apparently it's only serious when it deals with women, right? And since you're so pressed about when Women's Mental Health Month is, it's May. It's May. Google is still free.
Until he comes into your life and gets rid of every single problem that you have. He is just like every other guy.
What happened to men, like, begging? Like, you guys don't do that anymore? Or y'all only beg when you cheat, lie, or steal? Y'all can't beg and plead when you want something? Like, I'm sure you'll get something better out of that than being a weirdo. Like, nonchalance is not working for you guys anymore. Just start begging, you know? I feel like it would get you guys a lot more. Just saying. Beg and ask that girl why she ghosted you. Beg and ask that girl for why she's ignoring you. Beg and ask that girl to give you a chance. Beg and ask that girl to pay for her bills. I don't know. Be different. Y'all be accepting defeat and not even working for anything. Like, what happened to earning pussy, dude? Ugh. Grow up.
Just being honest, ladies, the way y'all treat some of these men out here, I know you wouldn't dare want a female treating your son like this. Okay, you wouldn't dare want your son to be out here looking and acting like no trick. So it just baffles me how y'all come with this energy. I don't know if y'all too consumed in social media and the facade that's all on the internet, but that man is not obligated to do for you unless you're his girl or his wife. He's just not. The entitlement is crazy.
Do men have this eternal fear of being used for money?
Ooh, where do I start? Well, maybe it's because that when they do end up becoming successful, they do end up getting used for money. That is their fear. It's not even just that. It's because that modern women have become more career driven. When they end up making money, if not more money than the man, then of course they don't share those resources to the man they end up with. Instead, they still expect the man to take care of them, in a sense, pay all the bills, do all those things. So yes, in a sense, why on earth should a man have to work so hard only to have to give up half of what he has, especially when it comes down to marriages and divorce? It's almost like it doesn't really benefit them. And I know women are sitting there saying, why, and you can't call somebody a gold digger if there's no gold to dig. That it's not about that. It's the simple principle of the fact that you guys are using men for meal tickets and money. Gold digging doesn't necessarily mean that a man has to be rich in order for you to use it.
Anytime I see that a man followed me on TikTok, I'll give their profile like a 0.2 second glance over. And if within that glance I get any kind of like negative aura, I'm hitting the remove as a follower button, because I'm the bouncer here and it's strict, okay? Everyone's getting a little glance over. Why are you a 55-year-old man following me on TikTok? There's nothing, absolutely nothing for you here, and I perceive that as an active threat.
I think it's so funny when women or girls comment on my videos and they're like, ugh, I hate women who center their entire lives around men, validation, like get better soon, love. Okay, like, what about it? Why does it bother you so much? Let me live my life. I'm bored. Okay? What if I like male attention? Like, I'm young and I'm hot. I'm not gonna get any younger. I don't know if this is a really bad take or not, but thank you for your concern, but I think I'm fine. Okay? I'm aware of all my flaws. You don't need to point it out for me.
Passport bros are black men from America that can't get no so they go to third world countries and get
It's almost like you just don't want black women to be happy. You don't want black women to find love elsewhere. You just don't want them to find love at all, because why not just keep to yourself that you don't want to date black women and allow us to find love elsewhere?
So let me get this straight. So you socially awkward is going overseas to disappoint bitch?
What's really gonna happen is women are really gonna like literally start taking all of the advice that men are giving. Oh, choose better, stop having sex, don't talk to bums. Okay, so that would render 99% of y'all undateable, have sex with a bull. We would be rendered celibate and childless if we took the advice that y'all are giving us, because it's all of y'all. If we really listened to you and said, oh, we choose better, okay, so we're gonna stop dealing with 99% of y'all. And then what? Y'all are gonna be lonely, and then y'all are gonna be mad, and then we're gonna have to deal with the violent aftermath of a bunch of men walking around with quote unquote blue balls, right?
Well, actually.
What's the deal, fo?
Forbes.
No, you won't. They'll just go overseas if they want to do that. There's other ways to do and get done what they need to get done. You're not that special. These men don't need you. That's why they're saying, I'm going to go get my passport. I'm going to see what else is out there. You don't have to be mad at them because they decide not to date you.
Today I'm seeing a trend of modern women trying to downplay the importance of marriage. And I call cap, because at the end of the day, I still believe there is a lot of women who, quite frankly, they do want to get married. But instead of owning that and instead of acknowledging that, it will be better to downplay it, because if you downplay it, then you don't have to face the fear that it may never happen to you. And this is what I truly think is going on. I truly think there are women out there who are afraid that maybe the guy isn't out there for me. Maybe my Mr. Dream guy or, match made in heaven doesn't exist. Like, they have that fear. But instead of really acknowledging it or facing it, they would rather try to come up with ways to reason why it's not that big of a deal. And I think this is largely unproductive. One, because it doesn't force you to be honest with yourself. Two, because it's not getting to the root problem. I think if it does seem like there is a trend of marriage declining, if it does seem like more men are being vocal about going overseas to find love, SYSBM, MGTOW, passport bros, whatever, I think it would be productive to try to figure out why. If I do want to get married, but it seems like the men that I desire are going overseas to find women, why? I think that would be a productive conversation. But if you truly do want to get married, but you're trying to convince yourself it's not that big of a deal, one, you're not being honest with yourself. Secondly, we have to also look at the data behind this. There is plenty of evidence to support that women who do get married, especially when they have children, they generally are better off financially. That's not to say they're going to be rich, not to say they're not going to have financial struggles. But being in a two-parent household raising kids versus being a single mother, big difference. Single mothers are the most economically impacted. So it's like, just economically, socially, this country was not set up for there to be a whole bunch of different singles running around. So listen, I'm not saying if you're a person who chooses to be by yourself that you can't be happy. I absolutely believe a man or a woman can decide to just be single and be okay with that. But I think what I see is women trying to convince themselves that they don't want it when they really do. And that is what I think is a problem. And I think if there was a more honesty around that, more honesty in owning and be like, look, you know what? I do want to be married. Look, maybe I am a pick me. Like, I don't want to do this for myself. I think if we own that and started to have conversations as to why that's not happening, then we would actually be more productive. But trying to lie to ourselves and lie to other women around us, in my humble opinion, that's how people really stay, depressed. That's how people end up being really unsatisfied, because they're not being true to themselves.
I've never seen a generation of women like I have today, where women want to be men so badly. Y'all want to lead the relationship. Y'all want to be the leaders. Y'all want to dictate everything. Y'all want to be combative and argue with the man. Why do you want to be a man so badly? But I'm going to tell you why a lot of these women get these toxic traits. It's because they were raised by single moms who literally hated men because they decided to not heal from their trauma. And so they teach this nonsense to their daughters. So then their daughters grow up and then come out here and literally try to ruin men's lives and be combative and want to leave the relationship and want to argue about double standards. Oh, well, if a man can sleep around with as many women as he wants to, then I should be able to do it too and not be judged. No, that's not how that goes. First of all, what happened to being a lady? What happened to being a lady? Nobody wants that no more. Y'all, it really needs to stop, because y'all only talk about double standards and how y'all don't like it when it benefits you. Y'all need some healing. You're not a man. Stop trying to be a man. Let the man lead. It's okay to help him, to be his helper like it was designed to be. Y'all gotta get it together.
Most men are so simple, so the way that you treat him will always matter more than what you think you're bringing to the table, whether that be your finances, your education, your cooking or cleaning skills. None of that can compare to treating that man right. So you can lose your man to a woman with no job, no education, no cooking or cleaning skills, because she's got listening skills. She knows how to speak to him kindly, softly. She initiates the SEX, shows him he is desired, and she uplifts that man on a daily basis without him asking. You understand? Why wouldn't he choose her?
I just want honesty and transparency from the man I'm with. I mean, all of us ladies want that, right? He needs to be open and transparent. But the moment he admits something that makes me feel uncomfortable, I'm gonna guilt trip him and throw it right back in his face. Make him regret ever being honest with me. You weren't even supposed to think like that. Are you kidding me? I only want you to be honest and genuine when it benefits me or when I like what you're going to say.
If you're watching this, there's a good chance that you got sucked into my birthday and men post. I just wanted to say that I learned a lot this weekend. And the biggest learning that I had is that most women, including myself, had no idea or have no idea what the male experience is like in society. I had no idea that so many men felt so undeserving of love or celebration. I had no idea that so many men felt just like a wallet, or like, you know, their wives don't necessarily love them or appreciate them. I had no idea that so many men associate birthdays or celebrations with femininity, or their birthday with the day their problems began. Like all these things, you know, I started to see themes and patterns, and it's like, wow, I literally had no idea. And to anyone who replied in that video and who was really honest and vulnerable, thank you. Like that, I can't disagree with your experience, and it did help me understand. To Dr. Audra, thank you. Your reply was incredible, like just super honest, super clear. And I think the other thing that it showed me is that sometimes we as women have a hard time hearing things we don't want to hear. I had a really interesting conversation with someone about it, and they were saying, like, sometimes when being asked, you know, what do you want to do for your birthday? And the answer is truly, I just want to be alone, or I just want to go fishing or golfing or whatever, and not spend the time with the loved one or with the wife. That's hard for the other person to hear. And it is. You know, if my husband said that to me, I'd be like, hey, why don't you want to spend it with me? But the reality is it's his birthday. It's what he wants to do. And so it's just been a learning experience for me. It's made me appreciate my husband so much more, and show me that I need to show him more appreciation, not just for what he's providing, but just for being there and being a great listener and a great partner. And anyway, to everyone who replied, thank you very much. And we can now talk about something else.
All right, y'all. This is why women come back after leaving. Let's get into it, family. Women tend to make decisions in the heat of the moment, where the thoughts are super loud and extremely hard to quiet. And we make a move, not in clarity, but all in our feelings. The reality is it's unforgiveness that has turned into real resentment. And you feel, or she feels, like she doesn't feel anything for that person anymore. But really it's unforgiveness. So then we explode in bitterness. But what we don't understand and we don't realize is that bitterness and resentment are strong feelings, just in the wrong direction. And so once they leave the relationship and some time has passed and they done calm down, they start to remember the positive things. Start thinking that, man, this probably could have worked out. And we quickly realize that unforgiveness that turned into resentment and bitterness was the end of a relationship you never truly wanted to end.
I mean, it wasn't that hard to figure out in the first place. You guys are not pleasant people to be around, so men don't approach you.
It'll drive a woman crazy, make her insanely attached and even more in love with you when after she betrays you, you do nothing. You ignore it, you treat her with silence instead of getting a revenge or going off on her. Now, let me explain. Women love men who have emotional control. That makes you a leader. That makes you a dominant person. Your ability to show your authority through your silence rather than lashing out is actually very masculine and attractive. A lot of men underestimate what women will do to get a man's attention, to get what they want. Same way how men will do anything to get strawberries from a woman. Women do the same thing when it comes to a man breaking no contact or giving her attention. For one-on-one coaching, it'll be in my bio.
I've been married for 3 weeks, 3 weeks today. And for the past 3 weeks, I haven't made dinner once. But without a fail, well, the first week was our honeymoon. So for the past 2 weeks, every day around 5 o'clock, my husband says, "What's for dinner? What's for dinner?" I don't know. You tell me. You tell me what you want for dinner, because I'll go pick it up for you. I haven't cooked. I didn't cook before we got married. I don't know who he thinks he married. I didn't sign up for this. We're having Chili's tonight. It's really bizarre to me. I know, don't come at me in the comments, oh my god, you need to cook your temple wife. I know. I don't like doing dishes. I don't like standing. I don't like thinking of, and you have to go to the store and you have to find everything you need to, get a grip. Not for me. Also, my lipstick is all gone. Just the lip liner remains.
A nightmare, bro. A certified nightmare.
You have blown your youth. You spent the years between 18 and 35 doing whatever the hell you chose to do. No heat, no judgment. But you blew your youth. When your counterparts who were looking to marry up and marry well were getting married their junior and senior year in college, the first and second year after college, they were married at 22 and 23, and you were laughing at those white girls and those Asian girls getting married at 22, 23. You getting married after college, that's too young. We need to go on girls trips and having our best life and hot girl summer and all this other. Now, they're 10 years into their marriage, 3 kids deep, and their husband's a VP of marketing somewhere. And while you still got you and your cats are living in a loft downtown, driving your BMW in a middling career. You ain't on no career track. You blew your youth. You blew your youth. You can't get that back. You don't have time to play any more games. You don't have another 10 years to try to figure this out. You'll be 50. You don't have time to keep playing games.
And it sucks. He makes a really good point. It sucks because these people, it's not like they're better than you. It's just that they had their mind made up to go in whatever the direction they wanted to go in, to do the right thing. And you're still out here playing around. So when you get to your 30s and 40s, you're wondering why they are way ahead of you and y'all are the same age. It's because I decided to do something more productive. Well, you saying I can't go out and have fun or do all of these other things and have all these other experiences? No, it just sends you. I'm just saying you play too much.
Going through these comments, I'm really seeing that women do not understand men. Women do not understand that men are very simple, down to the point where it's barbaric. And I think that's because as women, we are complex. And so we expect men to be that exact same way. That's not the case at all. For example, you ask us what we want to eat. We're thinking about what we ate yesterday, what we're going to eat tomorrow, where we going for brunch on the weekend, who has the better reviews, what we have a taste for, what we don't have a taste for. It's going to take forever to come to a conclusion on what we really want to eat. You ask a man what he wants to eat, all he knows is that he's hungry. He wants to go someplace that's nearby, that sells food that he likes. You ask a woman what she wants for her birthday, she may say, let's just go to dinner, maybe grab some drinks afterwards, maybe go dance a little bit, just come home and, do something a little strange. If the man that she's with does those things exactly, but doesn't add some extra pizzazz to it, she's likely going to be upset because why would you just do what I said that you should do? On the flip end, you ask a man what he wants to do for his birthday. Let's say he says the same exact thing that woman says, but she decides that she does want to add a little razzle dazzle to it. He may get upset because that's not what he asked for. Now let's bring this full circle. I think that this is a great thing to do. Matter of fact, as a life coach, I recommend it to my clients. Have a personal timeline for how long you're willing to stay in one phase of a relationship before you have expectations of it moving to the next phase. And if it doesn't move to the next phase, then now you have to decide what is your next move. However, ladies, as a woman in a relationship with a man, and if that man truly wants to marry you, truly wants to be with you long term, you will never have to give him a deadline. He is going to do it, and he's going to do it in good timing, because men are simple. Men know what they want, and men will go after it. Do not make this more complex than it needs to be. If he is not doing it, it's because he doesn't want to. Do with that what you will.
You know what that's indicative of? Somebody who has to get back to work. Somebody who is saying, man, I just want something. I don't really have time to think about it. I have to go in, get something to eat. Go ahead and get back to work. And men, a lot of times, have to get something to eat. They have to be efficient about it and productive about it. So that just becomes their habit. Maybe so often, every so often, they have a friend or somebody that says, hey, man, come on out to eat with us. So they get a chance to try a different restaurant and put that as part of their rotation. But most of the time, men have to think about work, making more money, and improving themselves.
The passport bros, they go over there and they think they just king. They just think they just king over there. Sir, you ain't king nothing, because the next man with some money who walk up, you're literally paying, but he's like, that's what they went over there for. He's like, they know. I'm like, I hope they know they nasty and that these girls will probably not even talk to them if they wasn't paying. Exactly. Because they gonna treat you like a king, of course, for your 20 minutes, 40 minutes, your hour that you pay for. Yeah, you're gonna be a king.
A dude in the comments said, isn't that the same thing as you guys going to Jamaica?
All right, y'all. This is why women come back after leaving. Let's get into it, family. Women tend to make decisions in the heat of the moment, where the thoughts are super loud and extremely hard to quiet. And we make a move, not in clarity, but all in our feelings. The reality is it's unforgiveness that has turned into real resentment. And you feel, or she feels, like she doesn't feel anything for that person anymore. But really it's unforgiveness. So then we explode in bitterness. But what we don't understand and we don't realize is that bitterness and resentment are strong feelings, just in the wrong direction. And so once they leave the relationship and some time has passed and they done calm down, they start to remember the positive thing. Start thinking that, man, this probably could have worked out. And we quickly realize that unforgiveness that turned into resentment and bitterness was the end of a relationship you never truly wanted to end.
It'll drive a woman crazy, make her insanely attached and even more in love with you when after she betrays you, you do nothing. You ignore it, you treat her with silence instead of getting a revenge or going off on her. Now, let me explain. Women love men who have emotional control. That makes you a leader. That makes you a dominant person. Your ability to show your authority through your silence rather than lashing out is actually very masculine and attractive. A lot of men underestimate what women will do to get a man's attention, to get what they want. Same way how men will do anything to get strawberries from a woman. Women do the same thing when it comes to a man breaking no contact or giving her attention. For one-on-one coaching, it'll be in my bio.
I've been married for 3 weeks, 3 weeks today. And for the past 3 weeks, I haven't made dinner once, but without a fail. Well, the first week was our honeymoon, so for the past 2 weeks, every day around 5 o'clock, my husband says, what's for dinner? What's for dinner? I don't know, you tell me. You tell me what you want for dinner, because I'll go pick it up for you. I haven't cooked. I didn't cook before we got married. I don't know who he thinks he married. I didn't sign up for this. We're having Chili's tonight. It's really bizarre to me. I know, don't come at me in the comments, oh my god, you need to cook your Tupperware. I know. I don't like doing dishes. I don't like standing. I don't like thinking of, and you have to go to the store and you have to find everything you need to, get a grip. Not for me. Also, my lipstick is all gone. Just the lip liner remains.
A nightmare, bro. A certified nightmare.
I saw a post that said that men are dating more for peace over beauty now. And if that doesn't tell you how dense and how black and white these men think.
Whoa, but I thought the problem was men only cared about how women looked, you know, and not really their character on the inside. You should be happy to know that that's not all that matters to them anymore, even though it should be. Look, I don't know who made the original post, but saying, oh, men are dating less attractive women for peace rather than the attractive women, it's a big cope all around. It's either a woman coping as to why she's single or a man coping as to why he's not going for attractive women anymore, even though they'd all reject him. It's all cope. But she kept going.
Is that they're correlating more of beautiful, attractive women to be more difficult and more demanding.
Not gonna lie, isn't a lot of content on here geared towards telling women to expect more from men, telling them to be high maintenance, telling them to control their man?
What men are really trying to say is that they don't want to be held accountable for their actions. They want to be able to do certain things and you not being able to say anything about it.
Where did you get that from? Again, she said she saw a post that was like 2 sentences. And she kept going after that, bro. Like, she talked for 2 minutes about what that post meant. Notice when I summarized it in like 10 seconds. It's like, again, men are choosing someone who respects them, who likes them, who treats them kindly. Because again, as I said in yesterday's video, a lot of women are conditioned to be with men they don't like and they end up treating those men poorly. So men are choosing to be in more equitable and happy situations. Like that just seems like something any human being would do given the same situation. And look, I swear to God, there was that one post where I was talking about there was some woman who was talking like this, where it's like, oh, they're just picking something easy. They want to get away with stuff, da 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 da. I stitched a video saying she was rude, disrespectful, etc. She didn't listen. I swear to God, I'm not going to go back and find it though. She literally stitched the video and she said, "You're right." And she was laughing. Like, it was like a big, like, funny moment for her, which I'm glad. But it's like, again, it's like they take pride in being extremely difficult. So then when men are like, I don't want difficult things, then it's like, what are we talking about?
You know, first it was the Man of the Year trend, where I heard a woman get on here talking about how men are taking advantage of that trend just because they say, well, all of those things that you described in that man, I'm none of those things. So I can just be the bare minimum guy and get a woman out here. So a man gets to take advantage of that. So he's terrible for doing that. Now we have a woman saying men are choosing peace over beauty. And how dare they do that? How dare they want you out of their face? How dare the old proverb continue to ring true today? I would rather, regardless of your beauty, regardless of how much of that good stuff you give me, regardless of your cooking and your cleaning, be in the corner. I'd rather be on the rooftop away from you if you're causing me problems in my life.
Anybody wonder why black men and women are not getting married anymore? And why more black men are not seeking mates in this selection of women today? I've noticed that they're choosing peace over headache. I mean, you see it in the relationships. A lot of times they form a good union and then careers come into play. And before you know it, within that union, both parties will start competing against each other. And a lot of times we get the blame for that. But no one talks about when the female chooses her career over the relationship. And then before you know it, the career becomes a #1 priority and the union takes a back seat. And we forget that the drive for more came from the union. And there are roles that we must play. But in today's climate, those roles don't matter. It becomes more of what more can you do for me rather than what can we do for each other. So I don't know why more black men are not getting married or building unions with other black women, but I do notice that there is trouble in paradise. And the toxic behavior from a lot of black women today is not conducive to a peaceful lifestyle. But I don't advocate being alone either. Sometimes it's just better to choose the woman that wants you rather than the woman that you want. And this is kind of a sticky topic you can't even bring up in the black community because no one's going to take accountability. Black women is sure as hell not going to take accountability because it's always the men's fault. A lot of men will not take accountability even though sometimes it's their fault. So it's just never a conversation that we can really have honestly amongst each other. But they say understanding that there is a problem is the first step. So what's your thoughts on it?
Free game. And don't ever say I never told y'all anything. Men are more attracted to peace than okay? And don't let that go over y'all heads because I be hearing women, seeing women talk about her, talk about his girl, talk about his wife. that lady is probably an angel. Okay? And beauty is in the eye of the beholder anyway. But you don't know what type of energy, peace, vibes, happiness, just being a good soul, being a good person. You don't know what this person brings, what type of value she brings. Y'all so focused on the image, the outside. The exterior is beautiful, inside is just ew. And I be hearing it all the time from these men. Yeah, she bad as hell. She cold as hell. Body banging. Attitude ugly. Energy ugly. When me and my best friend go out, it's hard to explain because the looks that we get from other women, like last night when I went out, I got looked up and down a lot last night. I got the ugliest stares last night. This man in my face, she looking at me. Why he talking to me? Because you looking stank. I'm over here laughing, giggling, having a great time, a great ball. He's attracted to that energy. He wants some of this. Okay? Peace, happiness, love is way more attractive than what you think.
A breakup excuse that I hear a lot from men is, she's too independent. My queen, that is a statement made out of fear by a disempowered man. A conscious masculine man admires your independence. He does not want you to depend on him. He loves that you love to spend time alone. He loves that you make your own money. It is not your independence that is the turnoff. It is your lack of ability to release control. It is your micromanaging nature. It is your inability to let go. So let's differentiate. What does it look like for you to be as badass as you are in your career and in your life, because you also have masculine energy within, while also in relationship being open, softer, and willing to let go, receive, and be supported.
My dog Storm and I want to talk to you guys about why men tend to go for younger women after breaking up with somebody maybe their age or even a little bit older. Okay, so here's the thing, you guys. This has happened to me. I see it happen all the time. A man who is not ready to grow, who is not ready to hold himself accountable, who is not ready to look himself in the mirror and say, oh, there's some habits and some behaviors, some patterns that I maybe need to change. He will go from a woman who challenges him and who holds him accountable to a woman who is easy and relaxed and maybe doesn't do those things. And a lot of times, this is a generalization, but a lot of times it will be the younger women who have not found their voice, their boundaries, or their ability to assert their needs, who those men will go for, because that woman will just placate him. She'll just, kind of like people please and do whatever he wants because she doesn't know any better yet, or she hasn't built her own self-worth yet, but she will eventually. And so oftentimes what you see is the guy will go from somebody their age to somebody younger, and then maybe even stay with them for a long time, but then that younger woman grows up too, and she finds her boundaries and her voice, and eventually she starts to hold him accountable. And then he goes to a younger woman, or they break up, or something happens. I see it all the time. He's not going to a younger woman because she's better than you or because you're not worthy or anything like that. He's going to a younger woman because he couldn't step up to the plate of what it would take to be with you. And that is a compliment. You want a man who's going to be able to do the work and who's going to be able to step up. You don't want a man who needs something easier.
A dude in the comments said, ma'am, I hate to tell you the explanation might be simpler than you're making it. Another dude said men are hardwired to go for younger women because youth signals fertility and health. It's biology. Another dude said, yeah, that's exactly what I want to do when I come home from work to relax. I want to be challenged. I don't know why they think, maybe it's because they think in their minds, well, being challenged is stimulating to me. But after a while, when you've been challenged the whole day, there's a time to relax and let off steam. A man's not going to want to come home and continue to be challenged. That's not really even challenged at that point. That's just contentious. That's a rebellious nature. That's not a very peaceful situation. If he's always being challenged, if he's always in a constant state of fight or flight, That's what you guys are essentially putting your man into, a state of fight or flight, a constant state of fight or flight. I come home from work, I'm doing my thing, I'm chilling, trying to relax. Oh, we got to go here, we got to do this, we got to do this, we got to make sure this is done, we got to have this done. Constant state of fight or flight and stress. And what man is going to want to be around them?
Why do older men want younger women? And vice versa. Why do younger women want older men? Is it for a sense of security? Is it due to a lack of having a father figure? I am really thinking of all kinds of reasons, but I would like to hear your thoughts or you all's reasoning. Let's talk about this.
A dude in the comments said that older men want peace and excitement. Younger women want maturity and experience. Great answer. I know a lot of times modern women try to make it seem like men are just predators and they only want a younger woman for one thing.
If you've just started seeing a man and you've noticed that all of his past relationships have been with much younger, like 10, 15 years younger than him, women, girl run. There is a reason why that man chooses younger women. And it's not because of their looks. Well, it might be a little bit because of their looks, but not the main reason. The main reason is they have the emotional intelligence of that age range. And they want to like have a Peter Pan type syndrome. They want to continue to be young forever. So dating this type of woman, a woman who's very carefree, doesn't have so much responsibilities, doesn't have children, and actual tasks to get through on a daily basis, they can just go out and drink and do whatever. That's the kind of man he wants to be. That's his real self. And on top of that, younger women don't know any better. So they'll stick around longer. So if they're looking for a quote-unquote long-term partner, which these people like have intermittent stages with these people, they'll choose a younger partner who doesn't know all of the things that us older generation women do. Like maybe that you're a narcissist, or that cheaters never stop cheating, or you're not even really a provider, and mainly you're just broke. So just stay away from this kind of man. Telling you if all of his exes have been younger, there is a reason behind that. And your reason should be leave immediately.
Coping mechanism. Man in the comments, Christopher Wokulis said, so tired of the modern elderly stupid. So tired of the modern elderly female delusion. The wall has no mercy for combative elderly modern females. Dang.